Welcome back to the 13 Films of Halloween on Filmmaster Reviews. I'm Adam J. God, it's been so long since I've done one of these. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into this. Let's talk about one of the most recent hit horror films, The Nun. The film is set in the early 1950s and tells the origins of the nun character, Valak the Defiler, who appeared in The Conjuring 2. Now, in regard to the Conjuring universe going into this film, I liked the two Conjuring movies. I thought they were great films, and I feel like James Wan is a director who truly understands horror and how to create genuine tension. But with everything else, Sony, DC, Marvel, Universal, I don't even think we need to mention that. They failed in the first try. But everything has to be a universe now. There has to be a million spin-offs of something that was popular in order to cash in. This led to Annabelle, which was absolute garbage, and another prequel, Annabelle Creation, which was actually pretty good. For every bad one, there's a good one, so going into this, I kind of had mixed feelings. The Nun was actually my favorite element of The Conjuring 2, but I didn't see a need to build an entire movie around that character, especially after revealing that the nun was really a demon. It wasn't a nun that went crazy or anything, and in fact was never a nun to begin with. In The Conjuring 2, Valak the Defiler took the form of the nun to test Lorraine Warren's faith, to mock her and throw her off. So making a movie where this demon has taken the form of a nun in the past felt very convoluted and stupid. And guess what? The Nun isn't just convoluted, it isn't just stupid, it isn't just boring, it is 100% not scary. It's an awful spin-off, and it needs a kick in the balls. Now, is that to say nothing is good about the movie? No, there's a couple things I enjoyed. Taissa Farmiga and Demian Bashir both give pretty good performances for the little they have to work with. A couple shots here and there do look nice, and the score wasn't half bad. Aside from that, I can't think of anything redeeming about this film, or its scares. Oh dear God. The jump scares in this movie got on my nerves so quick I wanted to walk out not even halfway through. Every single scare in this movie is exactly that. A jump scare, and you get like 5 of them every 10 minutes. Hell, there's literally a scene in this movie that is stolen wholesale from Silent Hill. Remember that scene in Silent Hill where Radha Mitchell had to kind of swerve around the nurses and make sure they didn't wake up and slice her or anything? They do the same thing here with an army of undead nuns in a basement. I, honest to God, wish I made that up, because I honestly can't believe that sentence came out of my mouth. Holy shit. Even when the film tries to slow down to give us some sort of story or some exposition, it can't help itself but interrupt with an annoying jump scare of some kind. It never allows its audience to breathe or take a break, and if the scares had worked, this would not bother me. They don't. At all. You know when you watch horror movies and someone hears something that sounds like something straight out of hell and they're like, "Oh, I should go follow that." When someone sees something that shouldn't be there and they go, "Oh, I should follow that, do ya?" When someone suggests, "You go that way, I'll go this way," and they find something completely random and they say, "I should go follow that. Which way did they go, George? Which way did they go?" That is literally all this movie is. Those scenarios happen at least 40 times in this damn thing. I sat there the whole time saying to myself, is this all this director knows how to do? Really? He doesn't know anything else? At a certain point, when they follow that voice, or follow that creepy kid, or investigate that noise for the 10th time, it's really hard to keep caring about these idiot characters. The story is honestly not that good either. There's a whole backstory of how Valak was loose and the church locked him up with the blood of Christ or some dumb garbage like that. The movie treats a certain twist it has at the end like it's supposed to be a big deal, but anyone with half a brain should have been able to figure this twist out, because it is quite literally the only outcome that makes sense with the opening scene. In fact, let's talk about that for a minute. The opening scene of this movie is actually very well shot. The problem is it's ruined by bad dialogue being exposited by two nuns. If that scene had just had the two nuns acting and had no dialogue at all, just have them act out the scene the way it was, but with no dialogue, the opening scene actually would have worked, and that twist that they have towards the end would have worked. Because again, we would be willing to figure this out for ourselves, but the fact is they reveal way too much in the beginning, and it's just not surprising by the end. It's pointless and just bogs down the film and whatever it's trying to accomplish, if anything at all. Also, what worked about Valak in The Conjuring 2 was that you barely saw him, but you always felt his presence throughout the film. This is what made Bagul scary and sinister. It's what made Freddy scary in the original Nightmare on Elm Street film. You didn't need to constantly see the monster to know that it was there. The Nun takes more of a Sinister 2 approach, where barely seeing the monster is replaced with showing him almost every 5 minutes of screen time, and at a certain point, the Nun becomes absolutely laughable. You know that camera trick where they pan back and forth, and on the last pan, there's something behind the main character? The Nun does that a lot too. I fail to see why we even needed this movie. I fail to see why we need The Crooked Man, which is slated for release next year apparently. But evidently, the prospect of good horror doesn't matter because this movie was a hit. And I'm sure it will have a sequel. Or, given this universe's track record, another prequel. I, for one, did not enjoy this movie. I found it boring, stupid, not scary, and absolutely needless. I'm giving The Nun a D. Again, there's a couple scenes here and there that are shot nice, and the two leads do a decent job with what they have, but none of that saves this film. Also, I wanted to talk to you about an upcoming TV pilot for Amazon that I worked on and I will be starring in for Chill Baby Productions that will be premiering on November 1st. They are currently holding a contest to give a few lucky people the opportunity for a walk-on role or to be a part of the creative team for the show. Please go check them out. I'll leave the link to their YouTube page in the description box. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to enjoy the rest of the 30 films of Halloween this month right here on Filmmaster Reviews.